In this video, we're going to discuss everything there is to know about living right here in Dallas, Texas. We'll cover the best neighborhoods, the best school districts, the cost of living, what not to do when you relocate to Dallas, and much more, so stay tuned. My name is Richard Soto, a local real estate broker with VIP Realty right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as we do weekly videos talking all about living, working, and playing right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Today, we're going to discuss everything there is to know about living right here in my city, Dallas, Texas. If you're relocating to Dallas, you probably have a lot of questions. Where should I live? Where should my children go to school? What areas have less crime? Where am I going to be employed? I know it can be very stressful, but don't worry. You have a friend right here in Dallas, Texas. My team and I will be happy to assist you with your move right here to Dallas. So let's get right into it in regards to Dallas, Texas, starting with what not to do when you move to Dallas. Number one on my list is don't drive down 635, 75, 35, the tollway on the hammer lane, AKA the passing lane, going 55 miles an hour. If you want to be a Sunday driver, no problem. Just merge all the way over to the right-hand lane and you can take your sweet little time. Otherwise, a big Ford pickup truck might run you over right down 635, especially if you have an out-of-state license plate. So, people here in Dallas are in a hurry. Make sure you choose the proper lane when driving down the highway. Second thing not to do when moving to Dallas is go to the mall in July and August. Well, at least don't go to the mall and park outside where the sun is going to be beaming down on your vehicle. By the time you walk out from the mall to your car, you're probably going to be sunburned. And when you get in your car, it is going to feel like it's an oven, I can assure you. If I have to go to the mall to shop for my boys, I go to North Park, the #1 mall in Dallas-Fort Worth. And when I park, it's underground or in the parking garage. I am that guy that you will see going in a circle until I find a parking spot, because I assure you, I will not park my vehicle out in that hot sun because it's going to be brutal once I get back. Moving on to the third thing of not to do when moving to Dallas, and that's schedule any event during the Dallas Cowboys game. Event planners here in Dallas know that to be a fact. So if you're having a get-together, a birthday party, or any type of event and the Dallas Cowboys are playing, you're probably not going to have a good turnout. During our basketball games, when the Cowboys are playing and I look out into the stands, I don't see very many parents because they're most likely at home watching the game. So if something is going on during the Cowboys game, if I were you, I would reschedule to a different time and date. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good turnout. Moving on to number 4, and that's taking the dart. The Dallas public transportation isn't the best by any means. And the weird thing is there's dart stations throughout the Metroplex, and I see people driving to the station. They'll get on the dart train and go into downtown, but you're still having to get in a vehicle. It doesn't make sense. If I'm in my car, I might as well just drive my behind to downtown Dallas. I don't feel like getting in and out, parking, leaving my car, and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't encourage you to take the Dallas public transportation. It's definitely not the best and it lacks a lot. Number 5 is don't be that person that doesn't like Tex-Mex. Right here in Dallas, margaritas and salsa sauce run through our veins. There are so many great Tex-Mex restaurants right here in Dallas. Some of the best Mexican food in the world is right here in Dallas. And if you don't like Tex-Mex food, you probably can't be trusted. Something is obviously wrong with you if you don't like Tex-Mex. It's part of our culture. Everyone here in Dallas loves Mexican food, and the great thing about living here in Dallas is you're going to have a ton of different options in regards to dining for Mexican food. Now let's get into a couple of quick facts in regards to Dallas, Texas. One, there is no income tax in Dallas. That just means you get to keep more of the money that you worked hard to earn. Two, the Dallas average one-way commute is 26.8 minutes. Three is up to 49% of the Dallas residents are homeowners. Dallas has a booming job market and economy. The average hourly rate for jobs in Dallas is $29 an hour. Dallas has a population of 1.4 million people with a median age of 33.3 years, making it the city of millennials. Let's get into some of the pros and cons of living right here in Dallas. And if you're new to our channel, we have a couple of awesome videos that go very, very in-depth in regards to the pros and cons of living in Dallas. But for this video, we're just going to cover a few. Let's start with the pros. As we covered earlier, there is no income tax in Dallas. Dallas has a booming economy and job market. Dallas is a modern city. You'll love the southern hospitality of living right here in Dallas. And if you love the big city, you'll love Dallas. There's a lot of things to do right here within the city limits. And if you love sports, you'll love living right here in Dallas. We have several professional teams, whether it's the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA, the Dallas Cowboys, NFL, the Texas Rangers, MLB. We have the Dallas Stars. We also have a soccer team, and I forget the name. I'm not the biggest soccer fan. Yes, it's pretty odd because I'm a Latino. You would think I love soccer, yet I don't. But you also have a lot of colleges. You can go watch the SMU football team, basketball team. Best of all, however, is the competitive youth sports right here in Dallas. We have some of the best athletes in the entire country right here in Dallas, Texas. Moving on to the cons, starting with the cost of living is higher than the national average. However, when you compare it to other cities such as Chicago, San Diego, LA, New York, we're really not that expensive. However, it's higher than the national average. Second con is you'll have to put up with terrible traffic throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. As we covered earlier, the Dallas public transportation system has a very poor rating. And another con is Dallas housing is going up and up. It seems like on a weekly basis. So if you're looking for cheap real estate or you're trying to find the steal, it's probably not going to happen right here in Dallas. Also, the rental rates have continued to rise as well. So everything is getting expensive right here in Dallas. However, I don't think it's just our particular city. I think costs are rising throughout the world. Living in Texas means paying one of the highest property taxes in the U.S., and the crime rate in Dallas is higher than the national average. Moving on to the last con, and that's the landscape. There aren't a lot of green spaces here in Dallas. Dallas is pretty much just flat. I call the city the concrete jungle. There is really not much to look at besides the beautiful downtown Dallas skyline, but other than that, it's just flat and a lot of concrete. So those are just several of the pros and several of the cons. Again, there's other videos on our YouTube channel that go very, very in depth. So after you watch this video, check that out. Now, let's cover the best neighborhoods right here in Dallas. These are some of my favorite, and I'm going to make sure we kind of cover a little bit of everybody's taste and options that they might want in their neighborhood, starting with my favorite city neighborhood right here in Dallas, and that's Highland Park. It is absolutely breathtaking. It is the Beverly Hills of Texas. There are perfect manicure lawns, tree-lined streets. The best public parks in the state are right here in Highland Park as well. And the school district is exceptional, A+ rating as well. However, if you want to reside in Highland Park, you're going to have some very deep pockets. Moving on to the second neighborhood that you might be interested in, especially if you're single, is Uptown Dallas. It's probably the most walkable area of Dallas. The trolley runs through the city. There's high-rise condos, apartments, townhomes. A lot of young professionals choose to live in Uptown Dallas. A lot of shopping, dining options as well. Another neighborhood that you might be interested in, and it's probably my favorite neighborhood. I don't know. I go back and forth between Highland Park and Preston Hollow. Preston Hollow is absolutely breathtaking. If you want to purchase an estate, a mansion, if you're looking for 30,000 to 50,000 square feet, head to Preston Hollow, and let me tell you, you're going to see some of the most beautiful homes in the world. I enjoy driving through Preston Hollow. I see these massive gates, and it's like my dream home, right? To have a gate, and you literally have to drive your car like, I don't know, 200 yards to get to the front door. Some of the homes, you have a little bridge passing some waterways. I mean, wow. Absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, every time I drive through the neighborhood, the gates are always closed and they're locked. Otherwise, I would be very, very tempted to drive my behind to that front door, ring the doorbell, and just ask, what in the world do you do for a living? Because those homes, wow. I couldn't imagine. But if you have very deep pockets, Preston Hollow is probably going to be number one on your list. Moving on to the fourth neighborhood, and we're switching it up. It's not all about luxury and high-rise views and all that good stuff. If you want an edgy neighborhood and you want to hear live music, great views of downtown, you like to stay up late at night and have a dang good time, Deep Ellum is going to be your neighborhood. It's a neighborhood that's full of tattoo shops, restaurants, a ton of bars, live music, and you can see people walking around at all hours of the night. So if that's your type of vibe, Deep Ellum is where you're going to want to go. Last on our list is going to be North Dallas. So you'll have access to the DFW International Airport really quick. If you want to get into downtown Dallas, it's not that far of a drive. If you're wanting to get into Collin County, such as Frisco and Plano, it's a convenient drive up the tollway as well. So North Dallas is going to offer a lot of different benefits. There's all types of homes there, whether it's single family, townhomes, condos, whatever it is that you're looking for, you can find it in North Dallas. Those are 5 of the most popular neighborhoods in Dallas. There's a ton more, just depending on what you're looking for. And as always, we could get more into detail. Just give us a call or put a comment below. I'm always happy to answer everyone's questions. Now let's move on to the best school districts in Dallas. And let me preface this by saying Dallas ISD is definitely not one of the best school districts in the DFW Metroplex. So in this segment, we're going to hit up some of the neighboring cities because Dallas just isn't going to cut it. I would love to live downtown Dallas. However, I'm not going to pay for private school, and I'm just not going to send my children to some of the public schools in Dallas. So starting with the number 1 suburb, and that's going to be Capel. Both of my boys go to the Capel ISD. I love the Capel Independent School District. It's one of the best school districts right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It's got exceptional teachers, exceptional facilities. The school is safe. It is just an awesome place to raise a family, and it also has an A+ rating, if I'm not mistaken, maybe A-, but it's definitely A rated school without question. Moving on to the second independent school district, and it's actually in Dallas County, and that's going to be Highland Park. Highland Park is actually rated the #1 school district in the DFW Metroplex. The only reason I put Capel on my list, #1, and Highland Park #2, is because I don't want the stress as a parent. I feel like if my kids were to go to the Highland Park ISD, I feel like I would be obligated to buy my 16-year-old an S-Class Mercedes or some type of brand new BMW, and that's not happening. I have a 1985 GMC pickup truck that doesn't have any dents, and my oldest son is going to be driving that till he earns himself a better car. So, moving on to Highland Park. Exceptional school district, great teachers, very safe, very secure area. The facilities are absolutely amazing. What's not to love about Highland Park? It is an exceptional place to live, work, and play. The next school district we'll feature is Frisco Independent School District. It is an exceptional A-rated school district in Collin County. It offers a lot for the kids, not only as far as education, but sports and activities as well. So Frisco is definitely going to be on the top of your list if you have children. Moving on to the fourth school district, and that's going to be Carroll ISD. So if you reside in Tarrant County, South Lake, Colleyville, that's probably going to be the best school district in Tarrant County. Great teachers, great facilities, and they also have a great sports team as well, especially if you're into football. And the fifth independent school district that we'll highlight in this segment is the Lovejoy ISD, which again is highly rated. It's rated an A. So those are the 5 best independent school districts, in my opinion, in the DFW Metroplex. Next topic is cost of living. And according to the statistics, Dallas is 2% higher than the national average. However, when you compare it to cities such as Chicago, LA, San Diego, New York, the cost of living in Dallas is still very reasonable. However, it's higher than the majority of other cities throughout the country. Now let's talk about what I dislike about living right here in Dallas. And it's actually a very long list, but I'm gonna hit you with my top few items that I dislike in regards to living right here in Dallas. And #1, without question, you hear me complaining about it constantly, and that is the weather, especially during July and August. The summers are so brutally hot that I cannot even put into words. And to top it off, the last several years, the winters have been very bizarre. It's gotten colder, snowed more than I could ever recall in all my life living right here in Dallas. So the weather has just been pretty crazy, but my main complaint is the summer months. Second item I dislike in regards to living in Dallas, and that's that we are busting at the seams, and that has caused major traffic issues anywhere and everywhere I go. It could be the middle of the day. I'm going to run into traffic, 1, because of the growth, and 2, we're constantly adding lanes, adding roads, so there's construction everywhere I look. Not only do I have to drive, which is another con, 30 minutes to whatever my destination is, now I have to add additional traffic in regards to my drive. So the traffic here is brutal. Another thing that we just covered is everything is so spread out as well. Moving on to the fourth item that I dislike, especially since I just returned from New York and I was in Chicago recently as well, which we did 2 videos about those locations. However, one thing I love about Chicago and New York is that it's very walkable. In both cities, I could just go downstairs from the hotel. I had a ton of different restaurants to choose from, a ton of shopping. There were parks nearby, there were gyms nearby, there were movie theaters, everything that I could ever want without having to get in a car. I wish Dallas was more walkable. And while some places like downtown, Uptown Dallas are somewhat walkable, You can't compare it to those particular cities, especially when they provide exceptional public transportation. And the last thing that I dislike about living here in Dallas, and that's that it sucks to be outside. Not only because it's hot and the weather is brutal during the summer, but there's not a lot of beautiful things to see outdoors. Dallas is very flat. Unless you're looking at the skyline, there's not much to look at. I call Dallas the concrete jungle because that's all I see is concrete everywhere I look. So it's definitely not one of the most visually appealing cities in the country by no means. Last year, Outside Magazine declared that Dallas was the worst outdoor city in the country, thanks to its awesome combination of lack of green spaces, bad air quality, and CO2 pollution. Don't even get me started on the pollen. Saying that there's a lot more to love in regards to living in Dallas than I could dislike. The people here in Dallas are so friendly, so kind, so loving. Some of the best schools are right here in the suburbs of Dallas. The cost of living is great in compared to other cities throughout the country. You get to keep more of the money that you earned right here in Dallas, and the economy is amazing. So many large corporations and businesses from around the world are relocating to Dallas. So if you're looking for a job, looking to scale your business, this is a great city to do it in. There's so much more that we can discuss in regards to Dallas. However, we're limited on time. If you have additional questions, just put it in the comments. Give us a call at the office. I'd be happy to answer any question that you may have. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're thinking about relocating to Dallas or throughout the state of Texas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Midland, we have offices throughout the state. My team and I would love to assist you with your next real estate transaction. And as always, I'll see you on the next video.